I believe that intellectual property is a subject that is not well enough spoken about or taught, especially with people within the creative industry or entrepreneurs who work within creative or tech or any startup. I believe it's quite overlooked and something that's thought of as an afterthought, and it can be devastating to someone's business if only thought about later in their path.
Most valuable, I think, in a number of things, but really the need for public and private sector to work together. I think public sector to communicate the work that they're doing, and for private sector, especially in the music industry, to come together and align on collective interest, to be able to engage with public sector. Private sector has to first organize to be able to engage and then work with public sector to achieve the goals they want.
Intellectual property is literally the bedrock of the creative ecosystem and the creative industries. It's grossly misunderstood by the industry because of lack of awareness and education and training. But it's something that can determine the growth of the industry in terms of returns on investment, and it's something we should focus our energy on to ensure that it's protected and provided for.
I think the conversation is necessary. I think it's important. I think it's imperative. So for us to grow, we need to discuss and argue these things out. So conversations like these need to happen more.
What actually stood out for me is that the creative industry still has a long way to go. The creative industry itself needs to evolve. The people, the creators, the artists, the musicians, they all have to come together as one. And then they also have to, have conversations with the governments, because today we talk about infrastructure, we talk about funding, and we talk about the legislature. So that's why it's important that even the creators themselves, they need to be involved, so that they will be able to harness all these things and also ensure that government is taking cognizance of themselves.
The best time for that kind of conversation was yesterday, so it's quite thrilling that conversation has started, and I must say thank you to the UNDP and to WIPO for facilitating such conversations, as well as The Nest for also being that partner. I think that intellectual property rights is very important, not only for the ecosystem, for their own protection and for their own prosperity, but it also has that ripple effect on the economy, because with IP we can clearly generate more revenue for our people, and also create more jobs, and also eventually increase the GDP of Lagos via the creative ecosystem.
So the truth is, this is a conversation that we need to have had a long time ago, but again, there's never a better time than now to start up these conversations, and people are beginning to become more aware about the importance and the strength in which their intangible assets you actually own. People are beginning to sort of talk about copyrights, intellectual property, trademark, and other areas of IP that is very essential, and I think this also impacts a lot of creatives and also gives them a future for possible revenues in the future. So yeah, I think that will